Konnichiwa! I love collecting retro games and especially retro game consoles. There's something really special about collecting physical media. The artwork on the case, the manuals inside, the cartridges. But it's not an easy and certainly not a cheap hobby. You need to buy the consoles themselves, which are expensive. You then need to buy the games, which can be more expensive than the consoles themselves. You need the space to store all of it, and you probably want to show it off as well. You're going to need a CRTV to play the games on, and if you don't have that, you're probably playing on an LCD, and this is where the costs can go up even more, because you'll need an OSSC or a frame meister to really get that crisp picture. And then if you're anything like me, you worry about the wear and tear of these original consoles that have cost you a ton of money to play. Now the solution to this is the third-party console that allows you to play your original physical media, but on a brand new console, and even feed it through HDMI. In today's show, we're going to be looking at one of the newest releases in this third-party console genre that allows you to play your original games. And to be honest, when I first saw it, I was pretty blown away by it. Game on! Before we get into it and take a look at this brand new console for retro gamers like you and me, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. And if you haven't, why not consider by clicking on a subscribe button around here. Also stick around to check out a collection that I've been trying to complete for the last 15 years, and last week I found the final piece. As a retro gaming community, we have been spoilt for the last 5 years. Things like brand new retro gaming consoles, new emulation consoles, things like the Minis, Nintendos, Segas, and PlayStations, new original games for old consoles, games like Tanglewood, and this year is no different as we see a launch of a brand new gaming console, retro gaming console, that could fundamentally change the way you play your physical games. And it's called the Polymega. The Polymega uses a mixture of software and hardware emulation to allow you to play your original physical games, much like the Retron 5. But it actually does way more than this. So the Polymega is actually a modular-based gaming system. Now what is that? Well, to start off with, you get a base unit, and the base unit allows you to play Mega CD games. These are original, by the way, original Mega CD games, PlayStation, and Sega Saturn. Oh, hang on, and Neo Geo CD as well. Not only can you play all those games from all those systems, but you can play them from any territory as well. So it's region free. The base system also comes with its own wireless controller. It looks much like a PlayStation controller. Now what's really cool about this is that the modular part to it. So you have your base system that plays all of these CD games from all of these systems on any region. You can then buy physical cartridge modules to slot into the base unit, and you can play Mega Drive, Genesis, 32X, you can buy a Nintendo module that plays NES and SNES, you can play a TurboGrafx model as well that allows you to play PC Engine games. Each module also comes with its own looky-likey controller, which is wired, and this is apparently to cut down latency when playing these old cartridge games on the system. Now each module will also come with 5 free games. And this is where it gets really cool, because these games aren't physical games. These games are digital games that exist on the unit. And what you can do is when you put in your original CD or your original cartridge, and this is really cool, you can actually download that game from the physical media onto the module itself. And not only that, but if you've got a cartridge game with save data on it, you can download the save data as well to the module. Now, the thing they haven't said is whether you can upload save data onto your cartridge again, but if you can do that, that's a pretty killer feature. Now, the console also comes with a number of options for scaling your screen. So we've got standard 4:3 and 16:9, but then we have 3 modes that allow you to play around with the scaling. So we've got standard mode, which is just 4:3, and it doesn't do really any scaling. I think it pretty much stretches, so no interpolation. Then you've got pixel perfect mode. Now this is really cool, because what pixel perfect mode essentially does is scale. So it either doubles or triples 4 times, 5 times the pixel. So you can play it on an LCD screen with pixel perfect image quality. Now, if you wanted to do this before, you had to invest in something like I've got, which is the OSS-C, which is like £200, £250, that's what, $300? Or a FrameMeister, which can be up to $500 for that device. And this has it on it already. Added to that a third mode, which is CRT mode, which puts a rendered filter, I think it's several rendered filters actually, over the top of your image to make it look like you're playing on a CRT. Now you can see by these videos that the interface and UI for the system is super slick. And according to the developers, they have got every single game for every single one of the consoles that they support. They have the box art and screenshots for this. So no matter what game you put in there and download, you will have this super slick interface that will run across all of your game collection. And if all that wasn't enough, they are releasing what for me is probably the killer feature for the entire console. They're releasing a light gun that will work with all of your light gun games on an LCD TV. Now all of this isn't cheap, but before we get into the pricing, it's worth noting that the developers of the Polymega have teamed up with the Video Game History Foundation, and a percentage of every console that they sell is going to go into the foundation to help with the preservation of video games. I can't think of a better cause for retro video gamers. So the base unit, and remember the base unit is the CD portion of the console, which you can play Saturn, Neo Geo, Mega CD and PlayStation games on, that will cost you $299.99. Now the pricing is only in the US, so maybe this console is only getting a US release, or it could just be it's the internet and you just buy it and it's whatever exchange rate. Now if you want to buy one of the cartridge modules, and remember this is how you play the Mega Drive or the SNES or the NES or the TurboGrafx or PC Engine, if you want one of those modules, it's going to cost you $59.99. Now with that you get one of the original controllers with it, and these are the controllers that kind of are a looky-likey for the system, and you get 5 free games as well. Now if you want to have an additional controller for those modules, for the cartridge-based models, that will cost you $24.99, and if you want another controller for the base unit, this is the actual Polymega controller that looks like a PlayStation controller, that's going to cost you $59.99. Now they're also selling bundles as well at a discount price, so you can get I think a bundle that has everything in it, so all the modules and the base unit. You can get another one which is kind of some of the modules and the base unit, and you can check out the prices on their website. I'll put a link in the description below. Now the modular aspect of this console really speaks to me as a games collector. I love collecting games and physical media, and being able to collect aspects of this console and put it together, I kind of just find that really geeky and something that I really want to get my hands into. Now the more cynical of us will kind of see this as like a money grabbing exercise or a way of increasing revenue, and there might be an aspect of that. But for me, I'm quite intrigued and excited by that sort of thing. And then being able to download the physical games as well to the console, I find this really intriguing. It's just like cataloging my physical game system and having it beautifully presented to me on this machine. Add into that the upscaling, the CRT options that you have in there, the number of consoles it supports, the different wired joypads that you can get on there, and the fact that the base system is all of the CD systems that I really, really love. For me, this is a console that I'm really excited about. It is expensive, yes, but it does a lot. And I think what we're getting here as a retro gaming community is our version of the PlayStation 5 release, but for retro games, and that can't be a bad thing. It has been a hot show this week, and I'm not talking about all the stuff we got to see today, but it is sweltering in my games room, and this freaking sun over here doesn't help at all. I promised you at the beginning of the show we're going to take a look at a collection that I've been trying to build up for the last 15 years. It's a small collection, but it's quite unique. I'm quite particular in what I was trying to collect. So let's take a look at it. So back in the 90s, I had all the Sega consoles. I was a Sega fanboy. I had Nintendo ones as well, but if I used my money to buy anything, it would be something from Sega. And so I had the first edition original Mega Drive, the first edition original Mega CD, and the first edition 32X. And when I mean first edition, I mean the first release of it, the original box, the original console for those systems. Now as I got older and I collected other systems, I wasn't really a kind of game collector there, I was a gamer, and so I would sell on my consoles to be able to buy the latest console. And I got to the early 2000s, and that's when I kind of really started to collect and keep my gaming collections, and I always regretted getting rid of my consoles. Now the only one I managed to retain was my Mega Drive, and the box is in really good condition, or the original packaging is in there, and so I really wanted to kind of get back into my my Sega collection and build up this original tower of power that I originally had. And so it took me about 5 years to find a Mega CD that was the original box that came out, had the original games that came out with it, was in great condition, had all the packaging in it. But it would take me another 14 years to find a 32X that was in great condition, the box was in great condition, and it was the original box as well. Now there are a number of them out there, but they're super expensive. But last week I walked into a retro gaming store near my work. I picked up Starflight for the Mega Drive, and I also picked up Mortal Kombat 2, and I was paying over the till, and I looked up, and behind them they had this 32X, and I instantly said to them, is that in great condition? So they took it down, we looked over it, it was all there, just perfect. The box is in, I mean, it's not immaculate, it's got the odd scuff here and there, but it's in amazing condition for how old the console is. And so pretty much without any hesitation, I bought that as well. It's a small collection. The Tower of Power has been something that I've wanted to get for a long time, and now I have it. That's it for this week's show. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and found something useful in it. Remember, if you're not subscribed, you can by clicking on my little pixel head below. And if the mood grabs you, why not click on one of the like or even dislike buttons? And again, love to hear the comments. The discussions that we have here on Retro Gamer Boy are awesome. So leave a comment below about anything you've seen in today's show or anything you want to share about retro gaming.